Hello there everyone and welcome to a new review on the channel, and today we are going to be looking at a brand new product, and that is EVOKE by Craig Petty. There's been a lot of talk about this and mostly all good, and I fully agree with that. This is very good, albeit a bit of familiar territory if you've been purchasing a lot of Craig Petty's recent releases. It does tread similar boundaries, but nonetheless it is very good and I can't wait to make a review of it. So let's roll the intro and get straight into it. Perfect, so decide to stick around, which means you want to learn more about EVOKE. So what is EVOKE? EVOKE is essentially a deck of inspirational cards that will let you do a lot of mind reading, mentalism / card magic routines with a deck of emotion cards. Now I don't have a spectator here with me to be able to do a lot of the routines, but I can show you the kind of main premise of what these cards do and what these cards achieve. So you would have these and you would do any pattern to introduce them and justify them, anything that you want. And then you could have someone just cut and take the card and you tell them to keep it on their chest, take a look at it, remember it, do whatever they want. And that is what they will do. So they're gonna take this, so you're gonna look at that, okay? So I want you to see the image, I want you to see the emotion, and I also want, I don't know if the quote is gonna be visible, but think of the largest word in the quote, or the most interesting word in the quote. So something like 6, 7 letters, something like that. Can you got that? Perfect. So now you would be able to do the reading part of it. And you would start out with, let's start out with the image. So I want you to focus on the image, whether it's color or non-color. And I'm feeling this is colored. I'm feeling this is a positive emotion as well. I'm feeling there's a lot of color. There's a lot of vivid colors in here. And I want you to focus on the actual image of this. And what I'm seeing is something natural, not something man-made, and something very big. It's something, not necessarily something you can grab or you can touch or you can necessarily feel. It's something like a mountain or a landscape or a mountainside. Would I be correct in saying that? Yeah. So now that we've got that, I want you to focus now on the quote. So the quote, there was one word that stood out to you, right? That caught your eye, a big long word that it would be interesting for me to get. And you would do all the process and you could reveal that the word is perseverance. And then you would go through and you say, so now that we know all this, let's look at the emotion. Can you feel this emotion? Is it something that you felt recently? Is it something that you feel that you lack? And you can give a reading on the person depending on this emotion and however you want. But of course, I know that they're thinking of confidence. So that is exactly that. They're thinking of confident. It is a mountainside. It is a color image. And the most interesting and longest word on there is perseverance. So that is essentially one thing that you could do with these cards. Of course, you would add more presentation, more hooks, and more kind of pattern to it. But I just wanted to break down and give you a simple idea of what you can do with these cards in their nature or kind of their original state. So knowing this, let's talk about where you buy this, how much does it cost, and what do you get? Well, this is distributed from Murphy's Magic, which means that you can get this from pretty much any major magic dealer or local magic dealer. It will set you back 39 USD or around 50-55 Canadian dollars, depending on the conversion rate at the time of purchase. And what you get with your purchase is this. You're going to get this box, which is, again, familiar territory for recent Murphy's Magic / Craig Petty releases. This is the box that you get. It's a nice sliding box, and inside of this, you're gonna get your link to the tutorial video, which spans close to 9 hours, and in that, you're gonna get lectures and tutorials from Craig Petty himself, from Peter Nardi, Peter Turner, and Ian Rowland. There's a wide range of effects from mentalism to cold reading, to card magic, to oil and waters, to so many different things they can do, predictions. There's a lot of stuff that is covered here and also that you can do. Now, if you are familiar with some of Craig Petty's most recent releases like Ticket to Ride or Monsters or Q52, some of the routines are repeated and are similar but apply to this deck of cards, and that's completely fine because not everyone can buy everything. But if you are someone that has had those effects as well, you're gonna find some familiar ground in the tutorial, but there's a lot of new stuff here as well. Having said this, let's now talk about difficulty. So how difficult is this effect. So what you get, of course, with it as well, because I forgot to mention, is you get the box, which also serves as a crib, and you get the cards which are marked. So what is the difficulty of the marking system? Well, the marking system is not something you're just going to take and pick up in an instant. It will require a bit of practice to learn. It took me around 10 minutes to get familiar with the cards and learn them, and then I was able to learn to know and see everything as I'm supposed to see it very, very well. Now, if I were to not have my glasses, I'm not going to have to lie, I will not be able to see the marking system. So I have such bad eyesight, without my glasses, I'm not able to see it, okay? So I would be able to see it if I hold it like this, but that is not something you want to do. So if you have really poor eyesight, like myself, like I can't tell you anything about this cards. Like I can even barely read the word inspiration, and I can only tell you it's inspirational because I know what it is, but I can't see anything without my glasses. So if you're someone that can't see without their glasses very well, it's going to be a bit of a problem. But with glasses, I could see the marking from here. So from here, I'm able to see the marking without a problem. So if someone has the card there, I'm able to tell you everything that I need to know from this distance. So if you have good eyesight, it's going to be very, very good and very easy to see. And it's very kind of eye-catching. It's similar to the DMCs in a way, where the DMCs, once you know, you cannot unsee it. And it seems like the most obvious marking system of all time. And this is a bit similar. Once you know where it is, how it is, and what it tells you, you're gonna think that it's way too easy for anyone to spot, but it's not. But it will require a bit of practice. But in terms of routine, most of the routines here are beginner level. They're very easy. Most of them don't even require sleight of hand. Most of them just require pattern and story to put behind the cards, as to give a cool and interesting premise to the effect that you're doing, because except for that, it is a very easy effect to perform, in all honesty. So moving on from this, how practical is EVOKE? Well, EVOKE comes in this little box, and you can just place this in your top pocket, in a jacket, jeans pocket, front, back pockets, wherever you want. This is all you need. You don't even need to have Sharpies or billets or anything like that with you. You can do pretty much a 15-minute show with just these cards and no extra props. So you really do not need anything. So in terms of practicality-wise and carrying capacity, it is a 1. Now, moving on into kind of the more intrinsic parts of this. So is this examinable? And my answer to that would be yes. I think at a quick examination, no one would see anything, so they would be examinable. In terms of repeatability, you can repeat most of the tricks here without an issue. In terms of reset, if the deck does get shuffled or dropped, you can still do a lot of routines with the deck in an unstacked order. But in order to stack it, you could either do a routine in which you stack it during the routine, or you could just do it on the side. It's going to take you around 30 or so seconds to reset it. It's not that bad. In terms of table space, you do not need any table space for this necessarily. For most of these routines, you can do them in the hands, but some of them do require a table. It honestly depends. And lastly, in terms of angles, this is very, very good as well. Knowing this now, where would you perform EVOKE? Well, EVOKE is something that I would perform personally in close-up, table hopping scenarios, mingling cocktail scenarios, but I can also see ways of doing this on stage. Peter Nardi gives a beautiful routine that plays for 5 spectators and could even be done on stage with 5 spectators standing up and you going out and picking up on their emotions. It's a brilliant routine that gives you ways of using these cards for bigger scenarios like parlor or stage or cabaret. I think these could work in specific instances there as well. Putting all of this together, what are the positives and negatives of EVOKE? Well, negatives, there's not many that I could possibly say. Possibly the only one that I could find, and it's not even a negative with the actual product, it's something I wish it would have had, but I would have wished these cards to be plastic so that I could like carry them without even needing the box. I could just place them inside of my pocket in an elastic, knowing they're plastic, knowing they're not going to stain or get damaged. I could just carry them around with me. I think that would have been highly beneficial and highly kind of useful to have to work with. But again, that's not an actual complaint of the product, it's just something I would have wished. I think it would have been super, super cool. But again, I don't know if that would have been possible with everything here. I'm not sure since I don't know the process of this, but it would have been something I would have liked. In terms of positive, however, the instructions are great. The deck is well produced, it's well marked, it's easy to use. There's a tons of routines that you can do with both the deck in stack and not in stack. It's practical, it can be performed in a lot of places. It's something different to cards, it's something really innovative, and I really, really like it. So would I recommend Evoke by Craig Petty, and what do I give it out of 10? So would I recommend it? And my answer is yes. I think this is a brilliant deck. I think it's going to fit a lot of people's persona and a lot of people's performance style, and I think it is very, very good. I fully recommend it with open arms, and I'm giving Evoke by Craig Petty a 9.5 on 10. It is a winner, and I really, really like it. Having said all of this, as always, if you have any questions, leave them down below. If not, like and subscribe, and I'll do my best to answer anything or any inquiries that you may have. If not, have a good one, and I'll see you in my next review. Have a great one, and bye-bye.